All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ella,
I'm Casey.
and we were both interns this semester at Peaceboat US.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what Peaceboat US is. It is a nonprofit that was founded in Japan in 1983, and then in 2005 there was an off branch founded in New York, which is the one that we interned under Emily McGlone at. She was our mentor. Peaceboat was inspired by the opportunity to experience peace building around the world through people to people connection and cooperation should be available to as many people as possible. Um, it's a nonprofit and a non-governmental organization where they connect with people across the world on a ship that travels around the world for SDG or Sustainable Development Goal advocacy programs where they educate both onboard and offboard. Um, and the programs combine learning, activism, advocacy, travel to teach firsthand lessons about global issues like war, the environment, gender violence, and other issues.
I just wanted to highlight this part of our mission statement that Casey mentioned. It's peace building around the world through people-to-people connection and cooperation. And I think the Eco Ship, which is the boat that people actually get to travel on for 3 months, is a really important aspect of the organization, although so much work goes on behind the scenes because people who come on board, specifically youth and volunteers, get to exchange cultural values and environmental practices with the communities that we dock at. So it's a really in-person experience, and I think it helps motivates and inspires a lot of people to continue doing the work that Peaceboat's doing. So what did we do? A large part of our internship was attending UN conferences virtually. Thanks to the pandemic, we were granted access to a lot of these. So we would attend these, take notes, and draft articles afterwards, summarizing, as you can see in our photos, and or creating social media to promote the event beforehand and recap it afterward. That being said, we also supported the Peaceboat, I guess, network is huge around the world. We were able to support a lot of the members in various countries, whether they were speaking at events or they were launching a new initiative in their own country. So that was really educational and informative for us to get involved with. We also, Emily, our mentor, stressed that we, try to reach out in our own communities and our respective universities. So I actually, along with another Peaceful intern, Caroline, was able to attend the Clean Tech Summit, which is a big energy conference with a bunch of esteemed professionals in the energy sector. And we spoke at the student engagement workshop, which was really great, alongside some esteemed panelists. So it was great to connect locally as well as, promote some of the global work that we're doing.
Along with that, since Peaceboat is a nonprofit organization, we worked on writing and editing grants in order to get funding. And we also drafted announcements for partnerships and events such as the Conscious Fashion Network, as well as events like the Oceans Conference.
So the first half of the presentation will just be about me, and then I'll hand it over to Casey about her takeaways. But just summarizing, I'm an environmental studies major. I'm a senior about to graduate, and I'm really invested in creating sustainable communities and ocean conservation. So the work that Peaceboat was doing was definitely inspiring to me, and I think drove me to seek out this internship. What knowledge did I gain specifically? First and foremost, I learned a lot about the Sustainable Development Goals, since Peaceboat's main objective is to advance progress in meeting all 17 goals by 2030. I also got to hear through these UN conferences how COVID-19 has hindered SDG progress, but sometimes revealed gaps in our social systems, which informs us. So through these events, I learned about also small island developing states, or SIDS, as you can see there, through environmental ambassadors that speak at these events on behalf of their nations. The Caribbean Youth Dialogues was an example of an event I attended to support one of Peaceboat's representatives from Belize, who expressed how Caribbean nations and other SIDS bear the brunt of climate change first in the world due to being water adjacent or water surrounded like island nations. Another topic I had little prior knowledge of was nuclear disarmament, which is a major focus of Peace Boat's work, especially in Japan, where they center their advocacy around the atomic bombs of 1945. Peace Boat has long worked in collaboration with Hibakusha, or atomic bomb survivors, um, and since 2008 has invited survivors of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki to participate in the global voyage for a nuclear-free world Peace Boat Hibakusha project, which is when they come on board and get to share their testimonies. On the left is the Hibakusha event that was actually hosted by another Peace Boat intern, Claire, who's actually here today, through her own university, which highlighted Hibakusha testimonial to educate those in attendance about why it's so important to abolish nuclear weapons and advocate for nuclear disarmament in the future. I also did a large part of social media and marketing. That was a big part, which I really thoroughly enjoyed for this internship. For an example, I drafted and created this concert event poster, and a little context behind that, in partnership with Parties for Peace, which is a nonprofit event production and fundraising organization founded by our mentor, Emily, actually. Peace Boat helps put on an annual electronic music festival entitled Patagonica, which seeks to raise awareness about the unprotected nature in Patagonia, Chile, which is currently under threat by plans to exploit the area for its natural resources, in addition to helping raise funds for a youth individual to travel on board the Peace Boat on one of the global voyages. So this was a really cool project I got to work on. And I did this on Canva, which was also an unknown skill and platform for me to use. So that was very exciting. And on the right is an example of an Instagram story that I made welcoming our intern team at the beginning of the semester. And just to go through the processes and another example of our social media, I made the graphic on the left. And then once the graphics is made, I also recount what happened at the event or promote what's going to happen and draft a little summary or what can be expected of the event, and add the hashtags and everything. And then we as interns kind of collaborate with each other and proofread and make sure everything's ready to go so that we can post it. So that's kind of an example process of what one of our assignments was every week. So key takeaways for me, this was especially new on a remote team. An internship on a remote team is, has its own struggles. And I think communication and, effectively communicating was a huge part, a big skill that I learned. And just making sure that we're on top of it and helping out other interns when they need help. And social media marketing was also skills that I got to hone. Canva and Slack were two unfamiliar platforms for me. And so I enjoyed kind of figuring out, the cool ways that you can create social media using these different platforms. And I also got to edit some videos on Canva as well, which are still kind of in the works. That being said, I learned a lot about global issues, especially nuclear disarmament in these small island nation states like I mentioned earlier. And also just I gained confidence in order to, work with, take the initiative and suggest an idea, even if I thought it might be bad, or even attending these UN events kind of made me realize like, oh, it's very accessible. We just have to kind of get our foot in the door and start advocating as youth, especially because I think a lot of youth are scared to, enter those spaces. So I'm really thankful for all the skills and the confidence I gained from this internship.
So something that I worked on a lot with this internship was articles, graphics, and social media. One of the main things that I worked on was the Conscious Fashion Lifestyle Network, which was a Peace Boat joined the UN advisory board for this network, and it was focused around, promoting more fashion and lifestyles in general. So I drafted the article for the announcement of us joining the advisory board, which was really interesting. I ended up having to do a lot of research into past things that Peace Boat had done, such as working with the Kuna Indigenous community and fundraising for sewing machines for them. And then along with those announcements, any article posted, you then posted a social media thing to go along with it. I hadn't done a lot of social media or graphics in the past, so that was a new skill for me, but I really enjoyed learning about it. Along with this was also grant writing and editing for the Conscious Fashion Lifestyle Network. We had to draft an application for the board. Grant writing, I did not know how to do it all previously going into this, but actually the other intern, Claire, who is here, she helped set up a meeting along with Emily, where we learned how to write grants, and she was a large help in helping guide us through this new process for most of us. And so I learned a lot about that, which was different to any other writing I'd done before and included a lot of intensive research. So that was a new and important skill for me. Some of the key takeaways that I got from this internship were communication and organization. Those are things that I struggled with before, but being a remote internship and having to work with people who are in different time zones and universities really helped me to hone this skill. I also learned how to work on Canva and to market on social media, which was really fortunate that I got to work with a lot of other interns who were very skilled in these areas. Grant writing and editing, I got to see, a new way of writing and learned a skill that will be extremely useful going forward. And just in general, professional development and attending these meetings and learning these skills and getting to work with other interns and groups was very helpful skill.
On behalf of Casey and myself, I just want to say thank you, Emily, for mentoring us and guiding us along the way, and the other interns who helped get all this work done. Feel free to follow us on any of our social media platforms. I think the last one was supposed to be LinkedIn, but thank you so much.